Lilux Oslo, what's up guys? Welcome everyone. Uldis, what's up man? I come here for 150 X trading. Damn bro. Nah, it's not gonna happen. Actually this, I'm long. From down here. With a lot of leverage. Okay, not 150, but like 100. No, that's not even true because it's cross leverage. Ahmed, Rofkopter, Peter, what's up man? And Pratyush. Welcome. So can you see the Bitcoin charts? And is the volume okay? On the music and on the mic? Of the mic? It's alright, everything cool. Alright, perfect. Where are you from? I'm from Belgium. Below Brussels. Just gonna wait like 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Thought you were French. Nope. Flemish, man. All right. So welcome everyone to the stream. I'm gonna start off by quickly saying thank you to the sponsor of the stream, which is PrimeXBT, an exchange where you can trade all kinds of different assets. If you're familiar with different kind of markets like Forex and stocks and Bitcoin and want to trade them all in a single Bitcoin-based account or USDT-based account or Ethereum, whatever you like, PrimeXBT is definitely something you should look at. The link is in the description with a promo code also where you can get up to $7,000 in bonuses, okay? So definitely check them out. And yeah, thanks to them for sponsoring. Okay, also please If you haven't already, hit the like button on the stream. That helps me a lot. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment after the stream. Those things are much appreciated. Okay, so for Bitcoin, where do we start? So yesterday when we were trading down here, I was bull posting on Twitter and said I was longing. Why? I've drawn out this Friday range, so Friday low, Friday high. Why Friday doesn't really matter. Those are just key highs and key lows. The high got swept here. High, swept, beautiful retest, and then we started selling off. Okay, then we did this sweep. I was saying, not convinced that we're gonna go for some highs from here, because we swept the highs into supply, and yeah, market structure was pretty bearish. And I said if we break below our range mean around here, that we would probably be trading towards range lows, and that's exactly what happened. And then at range lows, so what low caused the pump to this range high? That was this low. So there was going to be a shit ton of liquidity below here, right? And then we swept the low. Then I was looking for longs. Why? As I explained in the previous stream, it's not only about looking for a sweep of some lows. It's about confluence and about what happens below that low. And well, in this case, we have confluence of a few key levels, right? On the higher time frames, we can see that it's just a key level in general, or a key area, whatever you want to call it, right? This level, the level that got swept here to the downside, resistance here, support here. And as you can see, it's just beautiful how that level lines up with OTE. Okay, OTE from the low to the high, and then look for longs on the retest of OTE. Just drew that with this green box, the area. Look for bullish price action in there, look for sweeps in there. So yeah, the lows had been swept into that area. Everyone was freaking bearish, everyone was calling for 36k, so started looking for longs here. And then we did this. Beautiful. Unfortunately, if we draw the mid-range between Friday low and Friday high, you can see that's an extremely pivotal level. So let's mark that out in red. Okay, we swept some local highs here, right into that mid-range, and then sold off aggressively. So this morning I woke up and we were trading around here, and yeah, to me, I was still bullish, but I thought we would get a better excuse me, a better entry. Okay, because if this was truly the breakout and the bullish the bullish pump that would lead to higher prices, it wouldn't have closed a candle like this. Okay, then what you want to see is a quick dip maybe, and then a strong buyback and straight up continuation. Okay, but instead we closed down here. It was at support, small demand here, but yeah, like I said, you don't want to see a close like that. Then you want to see a quick dip and continuation to the upside. So I closed, and then we went for the lows again. So we swept yesterday low here, and then I started longing again, because basically nothing changed. My arguments from yesterday are still very much valid. We're still around that OTE area, this key level around here, and yeah, just daily demand. Also this key range low here, swept. Okay, you have a clean invalidation. If we start dumping below this and break down below this key level, range low, then I'd cut. Well, I have my stop around 39.9, well, exactly at 39.9. So yeah, I don't think prices should be trading towards there if this is bullish. Okay, so if you're not aboard, right, if you're not long or in any position right now, what would I do? To be honest, This looks like a good long to me. Maybe wait for some price action around here to develop. And if dips are getting bought, okay. But yeah, in my opinion, this is the low in. But we could, of course, see one more dip, although that's not likely in my opinion. So I'd keep stops below 40k for now. If we see another strong break above here and we flip this mid-range, well, then you can trail your stops towards this low, maybe add if you're long already, and then I'm personally targeting these highs into like the 44, 45 levels, 44, 45,000. I'm not targeting up here since basically everyone is targeting up here. So yeah, then I think it's more likely that we'll be running all of these stops, as I already explained in a previous stream. So I'm definitely not gonna short this level blindly or close here blindly. If it's really strong and it closes up here, I'll probably just hold my long and look for Bitcoin to trade towards here. Okay, so that's basically the play. If you're not long already, I personally am long from the lows here, stops here, easy invalidation. And I'm targeting, as I said, I will definitely take some off if we sweep last week's high, which is this high. Invalidation, if we start bleeding down again and we'll break below here, well, I'll probably get out, because then I think probability-wise that we'll just start accelerating and see the nuke everyone was talking about. Okay, so from here, I actually don't want to see price down here anymore, because if you look at it, everyone was long, well, some people were longing down here, right? Everyone got excited when we pumped, okay? Lots of people probably longed this strong close, thought that this was the bottom in, so they longed here, put their stops below here. And yeah, now they all got taken out. So this is like the exact scenario for a big short squeeze, in my opinion. Once we start going and once more people start closing their shorts or their stops are getting hit, yeah, this will probably start accelerating to the upside. And don't underestimate how fast this can go. Sort of trend line here. Once we're above these levels, things could go fast, in my opinion. We could start pumping really hard. So another reason why I'm bullish down here is it's not only about thinking why would you long here, but also why would you short here, right? If you shorted down here, where do you put your invalidation? That's the first question. Would you feel safe with a stop loss above some of these highs? I don't think so. So then you'd have to keep your stop above somewhere around here, which is horrible risk reward. So yeah, while for longs, if you're longing down here, you can keep your stops here and say like, yeah, if it goes to this area, I'll cut, and you have a beautiful risk reward. So the setup I'm in, let me check quickly. I'm long from 41,435.1. That's my stop, and I'm targeting up here. Something like this. I had more orders below the lows, more towards like 40,700, so towards this key level and this range low level, but I pulled them now since I think if we start dipping again, yeah, then things don't look that good anymore. Then people would have gotten too much opportunity to long the bottom, in my opinion. So down here everyone was shorting, right? Then we got this. Stop them all out. People started longing. Stop them all out. shorting again, and now we're going up again. So yeah, things just look very good for a short squeeze, in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, once we're above here, things could go fast. Really, really fast. So let's take a look at the chat. Should I long it now? Man, I'm not gonna tell you what you have to do. Have a plan and yeah, decide for yourself. What did you think of Chimp Spaces? I mean, I agree with them, with everything they said about being bullish down here. Being bearish down here doesn't make sense in my opinion. If we start breaking below here, then being bearish makes sense, but shorting down here is shorting right into high time frame support in my opinion, so yeah. Your stops would be a place to buy at the swept of September low. Well, that's why I'm not keeping my stop here, since I think if we start bleeding below this level, that will definitely be taking out this low and potentially even dump a lot lower. But yeah, if we do so and we see lower prices, then I'll just get stopped. And I'll probably wait then for the reaction, and if we do this and I see strong buyback, I'll just long again and keep my invalidation somewhere around here. How's funding? Funding is neutral, so that's not a problem. So yeah, overnight I didn't think we would see this dump here. I didn't expect that. I thought we were just gonna straight up rip again. But yeah, to be honest, now that we did this, we even have more fuel for a short squeeze. So yeah, things look very good for upside in my eyes. Not sure what you see in here that's bearish. I was short from up here, but closed down here on the sweep of or down here on the sweep of this Friday low level. And yeah, I mean, just on the weekly, right? If you draw this level, do you want to be shorting into here? I don't think so. Resistance, then flipped support, broke below, resistance, sold off. Then once it got back above, retest, and then strong uptrend. What we did now, this key weekly low, swept, reclaimed, closed this weekly strong, and now we're simply seeing a retest of that level. So if we just look at where the draw on liquidity is gonna be, this low got swept, previous weekly high, it's gonna have the draw. So that's why I'm targeting this. And if you're bearish, then that's the area where I'd be looking for shorts, but not down here. Yeah, that area will be key. I think we either sweep this, so see something like this, and then see a nuke, and then potentially bleed lower and accelerate. So if you're bearish, this scenario. And otherwise, if we close up here and dips are getting bought, then I don't think we'll do, because yeah, basically everyone has this area on their charts, right? It makes sense, it's a pivotal level, but I don't think then that we'll do this and nuke lower from there. Then I think we either do this, and then everyone is gonna be bearish because we pumped into a resistance that got rejected, and then dips are gonna get bought and we'll pump straight into 50k around there, or we just front run this area and nuke from there. I posted this on Twitter. Let me look if I can find it. Here, this one. Right, so basically everyone is targeting. I mean, it was before we had the dump, right? First resistance, wondering what happens there. It's always when everyone is watching the same level, you don't want to trust that level. Yeah, it's more likely that it gets either front run or just ran over it. So that tweet was when we were around here, right? Everyone was targeting this level while we front ran it. So now if we get back up here, I think we either front run it again and just sweep these highs and nuke from there, or we just run it and pump for all of this liquidity above these highs into this supply. Makes sense? Can you take a look at Lux? Yeah, so I posted the setup for Lux yesterday. This one. Got in here, ran up, was up 1 hour, came back to my entry, broke below the weekly open. I closed it at break even. And then we did this. So yeah, fuck this coin. Let's see. How much are you screen watching? A lot? Or I'm sitting in front of the screen, yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's not that anything significant is gonna change in my bias or in my thought process on the trade, right? I have the plan's there, I'm in, and that's it. Any chance the paid group will open back up? I'm not sure, man. Still thinking about it. For now, it's closed. Do you think that we could drop down one final time to 40k over the next few days? Well, that's what I said. I mean, I'm not... If we get another dump now, so after this, and do this, I'm not gonna be that confident that we'll just bleed and accelerate. Yeah, because then wouldn't it be a little bit too much of opportunity to long this area? It has been tested 2 times now. Shorters are clearly trapped, longers have been trapped as well. So basically nobody knows what to do here. when you were longing down, when you were shorting here, betting on a breakdown, got stopped. Longing here, betting on a break up, stopped. And now we're simply right in the middle again. So I'm giving this, yeah, I think it should go from here. And to be honest, I really like it. I love the way it looks, and I think it's very ripe for a short squeeze, as I said. Yeah, I also posted this. This one yesterday. So let me explain that, right? It's basically whenever you have a range set up. Okay. So a low, then pump, a high, and then you, oh shit. Okay, and then you dump, but constantly making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, without ever sweeping the highs from before. And you'll see if you dump then into that low, into demand, then all of these stops are just gonna be fuel for a short squeeze, okay? So that's something you see a lot. If there's a lot of stops, it just stopped, and then acts as buying pressure, and then it just squeezes you higher. And yeah, we've seen that a lot. Lately, not really, but back in, yeah, some months ago, it used to be all over the place. And it's pretty much what we saw here, right? So a low, a high, start dumping without taking a lot of liquidity to the upside. Dumping, 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 big selling pressure. And then you dump into demand and then have all of these clean highs above, right? So that's why I thought we would start going from here. But yeah, then we got this. Still have a shit ton of liquidity to the upside. So I think, yeah, and now we also have the people that are trapped down here. Once they start closing, it could start going up fast. During an active trade, do you watch a lot of... Oh, I have already said that. Yeah. So let's see. I'm bullish. Yeah, once we get above this local supply, right? That's the area we got rejected last night. So that's the last chance for bears, in my opinion. Once we get above here, I think we see upside. And dips are for buying. Well, dips are already for buying, in my opinion. Probably not from here. We have a flat hourly candle low, flat bottom, and those usually get taken out in the same candle or in the next few candles. That's something I use a lot, so probably something like this, and then maybe sweep some lows again and then up. And this area must hold now, in my opinion. And I think Monday low is around that area as well. Yeah, see Monday low. So a setup that would make sense to me would be something like this. Stop here and target Monday high or even previous weekly high. So wait here for the low to get taken out, then you get filled. Stops below here and target Monday high and previous week's high. A plus setup. If I wasn't in from lower, I'd probably be taking something like this. T. How are you deciding your stop size? Also, your Medium article on sweeps really transformed my trading. I do need your help in seeing how you decide which swing to play sweeps of. Stop size, I think you mean the distance between your entry and your stop loss. Well, your stop loss is not at a certain distance from your entry, but it's simply at a point of invalidation. So if you have a sweep and into demand, for example, I prefer to keep my stop below the demand area and not below the sweep, because lately we don't really see the clean sweeps we used to see anymore. So where we sweep one time and then you can just market long, keep your stop below here and then profit. Well, mostly now it's sweep and then some chop and then sweep again, chop, maybe another sweep, and then you go up, right? So your stops are not really safe below those lows, below those sweeps. And what was the other? Oh yeah, the what swings? Well, if you're looking for the key highs and lows, to look for sweeps and base your trades off, always zoom out. And daily and weekly highs and lows are gonna be more significant and more important, and the draw is gonna be bigger on those than on, for example, an hourly high or low. Okay, so you always want to be starting on the higher time frames and then mark your previous week's high, previous week's low, and maybe even the week before. Boom, boom, and then you're gonna zoom in to the daily, mark previous day's low, previous day's high. Okay, and as you can see, so this weekly low got swept, previous weekly high unswept, previous daily low swept, previous daily high unswept. Go to the 4 hour, mark some kilos as well. This one, why this one? It's the most isolated one. What do I mean with isolated? It's not that it's there aren't any lows or highs close to this low, so you know that there's gonna be a lot of liquidity below it. Oof, nice. And yeah, then you draw up your demand and your supply areas, so the consolidation areas before you saw a move up, or the consolidation areas before you saw a move down. And then you make your plan, right? And see. What's the link to your Medium article? I will look for it after the stream because it's far in my tweet, so I'm not sure I'm gonna find it that fast, so I'll look for it after the stream. So would you long into supply? I suppose you ignore it because of the liquidity which was taken below and on the upside still open, which makes the supply less relevant. Guess. Yeah, I think you're talking about this one, right? So this is local supply. Would I long into this? Well, it also depends on what time frame you're trading, right? Would I do this and then keep my stop like here? Oh, sorry, it's the other way around. Long. Would I long here, keep my stop here and then target up here? No way I'd be doing this. But if you're zooming out and you're bullish on the 4 hour, would a long then make sense? Well, yeah, fully. Then that supply zone is also less significant. You know, higher time frames always go before lower time frames. We are pumping, yeah, man. Correct. Oops. It's pretty funny how this tweet marked the local bottom. This guy in my DMs. Lol. Alright, let's do some altcoins, I guess. Or any more questions on Bitcoin? I think it's pretty clear what my bias is. I'm long. And I think we short squeeze the hell out of this. Also, look at this daily, man. Invalidation for longs is so clear. And you got these 3 stop hunts here. Yeah, I think bears are fucked. Do you think today we reach local high? I think we'll be trading towards here at least today, yeah? This one. I think this gets taken out today. But yeah, it doesn't matter when we do it, right? It's about if we do it, and yeah. But I'm probably holding. Sentiment was also very telling, you know. Everyone was shorting down here and down here. Anyways, altcoins. Sol. Solana, let's see. Yeah, basically also trading at support. This is your local range here. So from the downside to this low led to this high, well, or the other way around. And as you can see, key levels bounced right off that that range low level here after sweeping this low. So nice confluence. It did sweep the highs also around mid-range, so you could wait for the reclaim of that area and then look for longs up to these highs or these highs. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be shorting down here because yeah, it's dumped quite a bit. Yeah, taking out this, which lines up with this range high. So if we close the daily above here, I think this has a potential for some upside towards here, the 170 area again. So this is a solid buy, I think. And if it drops below this local range low, then we'll probably be trading to this, which is your daily range low. See, beautiful. Pivotal, 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 and then here all the way. Now dump below. So bullish would be a reclaim of this to target EQ. Above EQ, we'll probably be trading to this high and to range high. So then trade towards here. And then if we start closing above here on the daily and the weekly, then we'll probably be going for all-time highs. And if it doesn't manage to reclaim this and starts bleeding lower, the first area where I'd be looking for longs would be below range low here. Look for some sweeps or a deviation. Below this, reclaim, and then target EQ and range high. Curve Dow. So we had our game plan was to look for longs on the sweep of this low, right, into blue. We got the downside, we definitely got the downside, but yeah, it ain't looking that pretty in my opinion. I waited with longing because especially Bitcoin looked like, well, down here, right? Bitcoin looked like it wanted another dump, so I didn't long. And yeah, after seeing this, I mean, it's just straight down, right? So what I'd be waiting for now, if we're down here, if this was bullish and this area would be acting as proper demand, we would have probably wicked in here and then got bought up. But we're slowly bleeding in here, that it would only make sense in my opinion if we take out this low as well. So this low, yeah, and you have daily demand resting right below there. Nice confluence. Also weekly range high from here, resting around there as well. So ideally would like to see, trading view is so slow. Okay, ideally would like to see more downside and then a wick below here, reclaim, and then we can start talking about these highs into this supply. And that would be a nice trade. Long on the sweep, target here, and stop loss somewhere around here. That's safe in my opinion. Looks a little like Bitcoin, this sweep, right? Where you have a low and then sweep, retest, retest. So clean invalidation below there, if it does. But yeah, I wouldn't be trading it right here. Waiting for a little lower. So quickly gonna draw this Bitcoin ID on this chart. So what was it? Look for a long here. Stop below there. Targets here and Monday high. Yep, this looks good, in my opinion. We've also reclaimed, I think, previous weekly mid-range, right? If you draw from here to here, that has been a pivotal level here as well, and we're above that. So long the sweep of the flat bottom candle and target Monday high and previous weekly high. MATIC. Well, for MATIC, I was bullish. Where was it? Here, I think. Yeah, before we saw the sweep of this. And I was targeting, so my first target got hit, were these highs. So I closed like 40% on this pump. And then my second target was up here, I think. So into this daily supply. But then it's just started nuking, and now it just looks like dog shit in my opinion. Yeah, we broke below all key levels, so until it reclaims anything significant, I'm thinking this dumps even lower. The range we would be trading in would be this one. So from this downside, the low, and then we got a decent bounce, the high. As you can see, all pivotal levels. All pivotal levels. I mean, the mid-range has been pivotal. Here, 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 basically all over the place. So yeah, I think retest mid and then all the way down to range low. And if I was looking for a long, I'd be waiting and would be looking for longs on the sweep of this and then the reclaim. Don't spam, please. And if it reclaims range mean, then it could go for some highs here. Pour highs into this supply. But yeah, I wouldn't get too excited then. Because that's gonna be a big boss here. Yeah. That could be a nice short if it sweeps these highs in here. Invalidation above here and target much lower. But yeah, not sure we're gonna get that. We might first go for range low and then have a nice range play. Long the sweep or long the reclaim. Keep your stops below there and then target up here. FTM Phantom. Yeah, this looks really good in my opinion. Really, really good. If there was an altcoin I would long, it would be this one. Why? I mean, it doesn't look like the standard parabolic pump and then that cat bounce, nuke, that cat bounce, nuke. It doesn't look like that. It, yeah, otherwise it would have been dumped from here, in my opinion. And instead of that, we made a new high and now are just retesting. And I think this has a potential to outperform bigly. So when we were trading here on the previous stream, I said I was looking for longs if we would sweep this into range low. Instead, we left the station from here without sweeping the lows, okay? But then ultimately we came down again and now we got the sweep and the retest. So if yeah, if there's any alt that I could see outperform, it would be this one. Range lows swept, retest, held. So yeah, range high next. Invalidation I'd keep below, somewhere below EQ. something like this if you're not already long, and then target new highs. Good work. But yeah, will depend on Bitcoin as well, of course. But yeah, since I'm bullish on Bitcoin, I think this has the potential to do well. This will be the last real resistance in my opinion, because it's supply, it's this key level, and it's right above this high. So if it does this, then could get another dip and go for some lows from there. And then I'd be looking for longs here again. But if it just pumps above here, reclaims this, then I think it's heading for all-time highs straight away. Do you use RSI? Nope. Theta. Oof. Let's see. Yeah, this looks good. So low swept, reclaimed, beautiful retest. Yeah, this area is gonna be resistance, which is around the mid-range. Okay, as you can see, supply that led to the down move. So that area, first resistance, then maybe a dip. But once we get back above here, I think it will be trading towards this high into this supply. If it gets below here again, yeah, then we could dump a lot lower. To this probably. Yeah, and then I'd be looking for new longs below here. But looks strong for now. Reclaim this. And I think we're trading to this high first and then this. Not sure if I would long this here because, yeah, it has pumped a lot already. Well, at least if you keep your stop pretty wide. If you keep it below here, I think it's fine, but yeah. Don't really like these kind of setups where you have such a tight stop. Yeah. Average trade duration. I would have to look. I'm not sure if it's on CMM. Mm, 16 hours, 28 minutes, and 56 seconds, to be exact. You can see it on my verification page on CMM. Some details about my trading here. Near, yes. Yeah, so as you can see, I had this scenario drawn out for near. Was looking to long this. I didn't long it yet since I'm long Bitcoin, and Yeah, I just don't know about alts. I also longed one yesterday, but got stopped, of course. But yeah, this looks very good in my eyes as well. Especially because it's still uptrending on the higher time frames, right? We had this massive range, then broke out. Clean reaccumulation range, broke out. And now it just swept some kilos. So this looks good for a long in my eyes. If you get... yeah, we didn't sweep these highs yet. So there's gonna be liquidity above here for sure. Swept the lows here, local lows. And swept this low right into former range high. And lining up with demand. So I'd be looking at something like this. Long, stop below there. Target, yeah, whatever, I don't know. Let's see, using fib levels. Targets, yeah, targets would be somewhere around 20, 22, 23 dollars. Yeah, see, Bitcoin is taking out that flat low now. And it, no, not yet. But it's coming down. I think we'll do something like this and then go up. So yeah, I really like near. For a long play like this. Could see another sweep maybe, but I don't really want to see us below here. A sweep is fine, so something like this, a bleed again, and then a wick, then a strong reclaim. But yeah, if we start closing below this range high level, then I think we'll be trading towards EQ at least. Something like this. Okay. Luna. Yeah, also beautifully followed the plan. Was looking for longs below this low. This high led to this low. This high got deviated, so the draw was on this low into key SR. And as you can see, that held beautifully. Retest, beautiful, and now upside. So yeah, this is looking very good as well. I think this could be trading towards here very soon. Invalidation, if we start breaking back below here again, start closing below here, then I think we trade towards here. So yeah, if we lose this level, this green area, a wick below is fine. So another stop run below the low here is fine. But if we start closing below here, then I think we nuke towards here. And that would be a nice area for swing longs, in my opinion, to new highs. Come on, a little lower. FTT. Let's see what my previous... Yeah, so previously we were trading here. And I said, well, longing here is pretty much longing into resistance. And yeah, we got a nuke. And then I wanted to see some kind of ranging to look for longs. So that's still pretty much what I'm looking for. We got some downside now. But yeah, I'd wait for a sweep below here to look for longs. If we manage to get something like this, a sweep into range EQ, then that's high probability long. Also lines up beautifully with this small demand area that led to the pump to range high. So if we can get something like this, then I'd be looking for longs. this liquidity here, these highs in here. So something like this. Okay. If you haven't already, please give this live stream a like. Helps me a lot. Quant, like this. Okay, Q and T, yeah. On Binance. Okay. Oof. Yeah. Not sure what happened here, but that's not really the look you want to see. What a shitcoin. Yeah, I would never buy something that looks like this. Explosive pump and then just bleed all the way down again. It is what I explained lastly about the classic pump and then nuke to the lows again on altcoins, right? And then I said it mostly retraces all the way back down to the area where the pump started from, which is this one, and then gives a bounce, and then you have a range to work with, then bleeds down to the lows again, and look for a deviation. So that's pretty much what we got here. We dumped in here, then got a pump back up, which sets our range, and now we're bleeding down again. So what I'd be looking for here, this is daily range low. Just mark that out and zoom in a little. Wait for something like this, but don't blindly buy, okay? If it starts consolidating around here, and then sees another wick, and we reclaim the area that led to this wick, okay? And reclaim our daily range high, daily range low, sorry. Then you start looking for longs, invalidation below the low, and target EQ and range high. That's a play I would take, but I wouldn't be blindly longing it here. So then you long it here, stop loss there, and target range high. Make sense? But yeah, it looks like a low liquidity shitcoin to me, to be honest. I don't know. Unless you're in this for the fundamentals, but yeah, that's not really my thing. What's Bitcoin doing? Still not taken out. One. Yeah, so I took this long. We swept this low here and then got a reclaim. Some dips got bought up and then it was looking very strong. I got some continuation, but then it's closed ugly and just started bleeding down and the selling pressure was insane. So yeah, I got stopped out on this. Currently at range mean, But to be honest, I'm not longing this again. What I'm waiting for here would be a clean shift in market structure, because right now it's just lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You know, so it could easily do this and then dump again and then do this and dump again. So let's see on the higher time frames. Yeah, it's trading at demand right here, so it could be a nice buy. But yeah, like I said, I'm not interested anymore. I want to see strength for this and see this reclaim at least this area, which lines up with daily supply. So if it manages to do that, then look for longs and look for much higher targets. But otherwise, I think this could easily dump to these lows again, and maybe even this in here. So I'm not trading this in between. Yep. Makes sense. So above this, check this beautiful retest, and then or below, yeah, down here. Otherwise staying out of this. Atom. Yeah, so for Atom, also followed my plan pretty nicely. Back to range lows, it was indeed. So as long as this range low holds, I think this is good for higher. We have a low time frame range here as well. From this low to this high. Swept the lows. So in my opinion, the highs and DQ are next. If we manage to close above here and dips are getting bought, then it could easily go back to range high, and otherwise probably a little bit lower. If we start rejecting at range EQ here, do something like this and start bleeding again, well, then we'll probably see this trade towards this low. And that would then be the first area where I'd be looking for longs again. But yeah, I don't know, altcoins in general are just... I need to see more confirmation, you know? They're just in the middle of nowhere, all of them, right now. If this rejects, I could see this easily head back to this weekly range low and do something like this, and then back up. Can you compare the Amazon charts versus Bitcoin? I hate fractals, so no, I'm not gonna do that. And yeah, I already did Sol Sis. Like, let's take a look at Sis. Yeah, this looks... See, this is something that looks just first impression like this is already nicer than something that looks like this, you know? So it's still trending up nicely. Yeah, just resistance turned into support here, which is beautiful. Then started trending up. What's the supply area? This one. The sideways price action that led to the downside. Price returned to that area and acted as a resistance. So right now, range high, range low. Acting, the mid-range acting as support right now, but I could see, yeah, I think this is gonna go a little lower. Key level right here, low, swept, retest, okay? So plan to get long, a little lower, sweep the lows into those key areas, then reclaim and then look for longs there. Invalidation, probably keep it below here and target, yeah, higher. But I'd wait for proper confirmation, because if this is the lower high from this, we could also go for the lower low, which would mean that we would be taking out this low. So I'd be very careful with this one, to be honest. If you draw your range like this, see, even more confluence around that level. Almost lines up perfectly, and then it would make sense if we break below here, go for a sweep. If we then reject at range mean, we'll probably be trading to range low and then look for longs there. And if we sweep and I manage to reclaim this and reclaim range high, well, then the chances are, probability wise, that we'll be trading higher to new all-time highs. Okay, but for now just ranging, so wouldn't be surprised if this bleeds all the way down to range low. Yeah, so yeah, altcoins in general, I mean, not sure. I think I'm gonna stay away from them for a while. Also enjoy Bitcoin at the moment. I think Bitcoin is pretty damn clear lately, the price action, so yeah. Almost there. So let's take out that low, and then we want to see this area hold. And as long as that happens for Bitcoin, I think we're gonna go a lot higher. All right, FTT I already did, yeah. What's the name of this app? This is TradingView. Okay, I'm gonna go off here. I think the plans are pretty damn clear. And yeah, I think you know what my bias is on Bitcoin. I'm targeting higher. I'm long from the lows. Targeting up here. So yeah, let's see what we get. Could be wrong, of course, as always. Take it easy. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the to the sponsor, PrimeXBT. I'll do more of these streams. So yeah, just keep an eye on my Twitter. Please leave a like on the video if you haven't already. I would appreciate that a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.